Hey, hello, jewelry makers. I'm just getting set up here and I'm hoping everything's showing up correctly. I had a sign up, but it looks like it was showing up backwards. So, you know, we try with this technology and we do the best we can. And hi, you guys have been in for a whole day and a half already of awesome jewelry making presentations. I got to see excuse me, I got to see most of them yesterday and have not caught many today. I just caught the end of Kay's, and she's a dynamo. She's so fun to watch. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I am Tracy with TierraCast, and I am actually trying to navigate to where I can see this video streaming on the Great Bead Extravaganza page, so that I can keep up with your comments as best as I can. And I was alerted that my little sign was showing up backwards. I don't know how to fix that. I tried mirroring my video and it didn't quite work. And I just found the video and muted that one so that it won't make a whole lot of noise while we're working here. And hello to everybody. This truly is just a fun thing to participate in. We love it. It's someone says I'm just testing your IQ to see if you guys can read backwards. Good job. I know you know what I meant. So hi everybody. Hi Kimberly. Hi Cindy. Hi Susan. Hi Sue. We are just and Danielle. Hi Danielle. We're seeing so many you guys are such a support, you jewelry makers. I've said it before, you're why we do what we do. And we see many of you, many of your names when, you know, we've been seeing you, you're familiar now, and we're just super happy to see you guys. So just for the fun of it, I am going to switch my camera again and leave the sign there when I switch my camera, and it's still backwards. What the heck? Anyway, I'm just going to do away with the sign, and we'll get started on our, oh wait, let me come back for just a second because I do want to talk to you guys about, you know what we're demoing. I showed you at the preview party that we did Friday night, which was super fun. We're going to do 3 of our older TierraCast kits. So we have Celtic Braid bracelet. We have the Lasso earrings, and we have the Om Blossom bracelet. And I am going to give away 3 of these. I don't think I'm actually not sure how I'm going to do this. Maybe if we have time, I'll go ahead and pick some names when we're getting close to the end of this live stream here, and we'll go ahead and pick them today, and that would be fun. And otherwise, I'll wait and do it sometime tomorrow. But I'm thinking I'm leaning towards the today thing. So let me switch the camera again so we can get started. And I think that I'm going to start with the Celtic Braid bracelet. And let me see if I can adjust the light so it's not so glaring on this plastic, although the plastic's only going to be there for a minute. We're going to unpackage it and then we won't have that nasty plastic glare. So let's just get that out of the way. So the Celtic Braid bracelet, we did a couple of variations of this design, and this one we love just because one of our founders, Alan, has Scottish background, and so he's just very, very fond of Celtic imagery and Celtic traditions. So he was those Celtic parts were very influenced by Alan's sensibilities. So we're fond of them. We've had Celtic products in our line for a very long time. So this particular bracelet is just a simple design. We've been producing kits since about 2014. So, and I'm just looking at the Facebook stream again. Sorry guys, when we're doing this, I'm, for example, using Zoom. So that's my kind of real-time camera. And And when you look at it, at how it's looking on Facebook, it is about 20 seconds behind. So when I say I'm looking at Facebook, I'm looking over to see what is it doing on that page. So I'm going to try mirroring my video again here to see if this is going to show up right for you guys. And I was saying, we have been producing kits since about 2014. And they're not a huge part of our line. You know, we are a wholesale manufacturer, so some of our customers picked up kits and some of them didn't. So it's a smaller part of our line, but kits have increased in popularity so much over the last few years that we have committed to including kits in all of our releases this year. So we'll be adding a couple here, a couple there throughout the year, so you guys can watch for those. This one in particular, we developed with when we were putting out our leather findings products, and that was back in 2015 and 2016. So I am the original designer of all three of these designs, but it's been a long time since I made them. So I am going to follow along with my instructions. And we did intend for all of these to be fairly simple so that people could, you know, even beginners could make them, and it would be very beginner friendly. And I'm getting a lot of hellos from all over the place, from Ohio, from Hawaii. So hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, and Margaret, when printing, you can select an option that allows your print to be in reverse. That is smart. I will try that next time. So anyway, I'm starting off with this bracelet. It's a 2mm leather cord. And I'm just giving it a little bit of a pre-stretch. I kind of find that just a good rule of thumb, almost with any cords. Nylon cords maybe don't stretch with wear quite so much, but a lot of other cords do. So I'm giving it a little stretch. And then I'm going to cut this into 2 equal pieces. And I'm not measuring, I'm just folding it in half and cutting it at the center. And then I'm going to thread, let's see, the end of one cord through one of the barrel beads, and then up through the hole. Oh, hey, I have a spontaneous other demo to include right now, which I didn't think about till just now. Our components are cast pewter, which means that's a relatively soft metal, and you can modify it. So what I've got here is a pair of bracelet bending pliers, nylon job bracelet bending pliers, and I'm just going to give this focal component, this Celtic link focal component, a little bit of a curve using these bracelet bending pliers. And I could also do this by just kind of pressing it around like a glass jar or something with a curve to it. Now you don't want to be aggressive with this kind of manipulation of our parts because they are plated. So I wouldn't want to come at this really aggressively and like crack that. This is fine silver and I would not want to crack that. So I just went at it kind of gently. So that's just a fun thing to know with some of these TierraCast parts. You can use hole punching pliers to modify them. You can use bracelet bending pliers, you know, just to make them a little more versatile. All right, so my instructions tell me thread the end of my cord through one of these beads and then up through the end hole of the link and then back through the barrel bead. And I'm then going to want to tie an overhand knot at the end of this cord. So I'm going to push this through enough to where I have enough room to manipulate the cord and actually tie myself a little knot. Maybe my hands are so cold that it's not the cord that doesn't want to cooperate, it's my hands. So I just got into my office about an hour ago and my office is just freezing all the time and it hasn't had time to warm up yet. So I'm tying a little knot here. When I'm all done with everything, I'm going to come and put a little drop of glue in those knots to keep them secure. But for now, I'm just going to tighten it good. And then I'm going to readjust these cords so that that knot is close to the barrel bead. And we have several versions of barrel beads. We made them specifically for working with thick stringing materials like leather cord. So this one is called our Deco. And it comes in, used to come in 3 sizes. Now we only have it in 2. And we have it so that it fits 2 strands of 2mm leather. And we also have a wider one that's a 6 by 2mm opening, and it fits 3 strands. So we're using the 2 today. I've got that done, and I'm not going to do that now on the other side. And I do love the idea of keeping my eyes on the comments, guys, but it's hard to do while I'm looking down as well. So if you have important questions and I don't catch it, and I don't catch it as we're streaming here, I will be going through these comments later, and I will respond as well as I can, hopefully catch everybody's questions. If it's something super important, you can always just send me a direct message through the TierraCast Facebook page. And Jenny is commenting that the instruction book, I see that mirroring my camera did not make any difference in the stream. And Jenny's commenting that the instruction book is also backwards, but not for me. So as long as I can read it, we'll be okay. All right, so I've got these 2 connected here, got my knots tied on both ends. And the last step for this very simple design is I'm going to thread both of those cords through that last barrel bead from the opposite direction. And the nice thing about this bracelet is it's going to end up being a little bit adjustable. So I've got cords threaded through from the opposite sides, and I'm going to tie a knot in the ends of those cords again. And I'm going to use my chain nose pliers to help me pull that knot nice and tight. And I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Yeah, and Margaret, you're right. Margaret says, I love kits, especially when you just can't get out to go shopping. So yeah, kits make it easy for you guys to get some jewelry inspiration into your homes and onto your workbenches. So I'm going to trim a little bit off here at each end. And did I get that? Did I get everything kind of centered here? It looks pretty good. So you can see the way this is going to stay secure is that I'm going to crimp. You can see that it's kind of, if it's a loose fit right now, and that will vary because you know that leather cord can have kind of some variation in its thicknesses. So you might buy a 2mm cord and it ends up being a little bit thicker than the last batch of 2mm cord you bought. That's just because it's an organic material, and it can have that variation. So this is pretty loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and crimp this barrel bead to not tightly, but just enough so that it grips these cords a little bit. You can use a few different things to do that. You can use a pair of just metal flat nose pliers. I don't happen to have a pair of those sitting here, but these ones are chain, but you know what I mean, just the flat nose ones. You can use nylon jaw pliers, which is nice because it's gentle on the bead. It doesn't mar it too much, but it's also a little bit slippery. So I would have to make sure that I'm really getting a good grip on that and it's not going to slip out while I'm squeezing on it. Another one, our favorite tool for doing this work with our barrel beads is parallel pliers. And you can see that parallel pliers are made so that the compression is parallel, it's equal. So it works really, really nice for this work. So I'm just going to get a hold of my barrel bead, and I'm going to gently squeeze it, and I'm going to keep checking it as I go. Because I want it to be tight enough to hold it, but I don't want it to be so tight that it that makes it hard to slide. So that feels pretty good. It feels like it's now crimped enough so that I can slide these easily, but it'll still stay in place. So that is all for this kit. It's a very simple design, and as we mentioned in the preview, we also like the idea of not having to use a whole lot of tools with one of our kits. So this one's easy. You really just need scissors and a pair of pliers that you can crimp the barrel bead with. There's a comment, Lynn Carling says she's used bracelet bending pliers on our large feathers, and that's fun. We have a great bracelet design in our website archives using that technique. I am going to put a tiny bit of glue on these, and I actually should have checked this bottle of glue to see if it even had any glue left in it. I'm going to grab another bottle. So, and that brings up a good topic, is glue for leather. We like using super new glue. It's a super glue formula, cyanoacrylate. It's a fairly liquidy formula. And this is a brand new one, so I shouldn't have any trouble getting it out, right? Apparently not. See if I can stick a pin in there. So it has been one of our favorite glues to use for working with leather cord. But there are others. I've heard Michelle at Leather Cord USA recommend Loctite gel. So that's a good one coming right from a leather manufacturer. So I haven't really tried that, but she says it's a good one. And I also heard Kay yesterday say that Zap has a jewelry making glue. The cold hands isn't helping this either, guys, gotta say. Kate was talking about Zap jewelry making glue, and I have not tried that one, but I'm going to get my hands on some of that and test it too. And she was talking about using it with leather at the time. So a couple of good suggestions for glues for leather there. And with the Loctite and the Zap, it is intriguing that they're gel formulas. So that'll make, it's a little different. Some people like working with the gel formula a little better than working with the liquidy one. All right, so that's it for this one. This is, it's all done. You can see with this type of bracelet, when you want to widen it to put it on, you just slide the knots up close to the barrel bead, and then to adjust it smaller, you can pull the knots away. And what I could do as well, and I didn't do this while we were putting it together, but the way to kind of, when you're making a bracelet like this, it's going to have an adjustable knot type of closure. You can widen that until it just fits over the widest part of your hand. And then I could adjust the length of these cords here accordingly. Because what I would want to do is move that knot right here, move the whole knot right up next to the barrel beads, and then I could trim off all that extra cord, and I would still be assured that it's going to fit over the widest part of my hand when I open it up to put it on my wrist. So that's how you do that when you're making one of these bracelets. But in the meantime, this one is all done. Now I was just noticing that these are sliding a little bit too. I could crimp these ones down a little bit to hold them in place if I wanted, so that I don't have any movement with them. And with these ones here next to the focal, they don't have to move. So it's not as important if I crimp it harder and those cords aren't going to slide around in there, that's okay, because this one's staying, these ones are staying put. So that's it. That's our first one. And we do have another version of this too. I'm off the top of my head not remembering what we call that one, but it features our infinity knot focal. And it's a brown leather, so it just looks, it's a little bit different. So the next one, I just randomly chose the next tray, and it is the Lasso earrings. Let me see if there's any, yes, barrel beads or crimpable motor crafts. We do have several different kinds of barrel beads. This kit is also using a barrel bead. This one uses our distressed one. So you guys can't see this, but I'm just tossing my garbage on the floor off the left side of my table. If I was smart, I would put a garbage can over there, right? But I'm just tossing it on the floor. Okay, so I'm sorry, I was opening it up, but I was also scanning comments, seeing if there was anything I could respond to. Lynn is saying she likes hypo cement for leather knots. I haven't really tried hypo cement on leather. Although I tried hypo cement with leather when we first were coming out with cord ends, where you were actually inserting a cord end into, for example, a 2 millimeter cord end into one of the 2 millimeter cord into one of the 2 millimeter cord ends. And we found that the hypo cement hold wasn't as secure as we wanted for that. But for knots, I would think that it would work just fine. And yeah, it has that nice needle applicator, the hypo cement. So it's nice to get it right where you want it. So again, I'm giving my cord a little bit of a stretch. And this one, oh look, I will need a measuring device for this one, because it says in my instructions I need to cut 2 5-inch pieces and 2 3 3/4 inch pieces. It's kind of fun to be opening these up and making these when I haven't made them in so long. So having to remember all the details and read the instructions. So I've got a 5-inch piece. And a second 5-inch piece. And 2 3 3/4 inch pieces. So, you can see that we put just enough cord in that kit. Okay, got my 2 5-inch pieces, 2 3 3/4 inch pieces. I'm going to take one of the longer pieces and one of the shorter pieces. And it says, hold one 5-inch piece and one 3 3/4 inch piece next to each other. Shorter cord to the inside. And thread those ends up inside one of these distressed barrel bead. Now these ones are 6 by 2 millimeter opening, which means that it can fit 4 strands of 1.5 millimeter cord, and that's what we're using here. This is 1.5 rather than 2, and so it'll fit 4 of those side by side. So I thread those up through the barrel bead and then double them back. Oops. Double them back through. And it says I need to extend those through about 1/4 inch. Okay. And then I don't think I need that loop up the top quite that long. So I'm just adjusting that so that the loop above the barrel bead is a little bit shorter. That looks pretty good because this is where I will be attaching the ear wire. Somebody's asking, well, somebody asked what size the cord is, so I answered that. It's 1.5. And the best glue for gluing leather into end caps, Joan, we use E6000 most of the time for that. The super new glue does work for that too, but again, you got that liquidy consistency. So if your cord and your cord end are a very good fit, like a 2mm cord into a 2mm cord end, then the super new glue will work just fine because you just need to put like a little light coat on it. If I was going to glue a 1.5mm cord into a 2mm cord end, I would go with the E6000, or I might try those gel consistencies that we were just talking about. With that Kate had recommended, because you want something with a thicker consistently to take up that extra space. I hope that makes sense. Something is kind of bothering me about this design, and it's that I'm going to want to be curving this over this way. So, and my, you know how leather round cord, when you get it, will have a natural curve in it. And it's kind of curving the other direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip flop those cords around and kind of do that again backwards. So now the curve of the leather is not going to argue so much with the curve of the design. All right, so now I've got my cords threaded through there. I'm going to string one of these 5mm spacers. These are our the other ingredients for this design. We've got some little gemstone rondelles, all with large holes. We've got 4 in aventurine, and we've got 2, I think this is tiger's eye. And they have the 2mm holes so that they'll fit on the cord. We have some of our own large hole spacers that we designed to work with cord and larger stringing materials, and we have a few jump rings. And I'm threading 1 5mm spacer, 1 7mm spacer, and 1 5mm spacer onto that inside shorter cord. Then I'm just going to kind of slide those up and leave them sit there. And then, oh, hold on, let me finish reading. Aha. And then I'm going to, okay, guys, I really should have read through this because when I wrote these many years ago, I wrote them in the way that's really the best way to do them. So I should read those and pay attention to that, right? Okay, so so it tells me rather than going ahead and starting to string the beads onto that second one, which is what I was kind of going to go ahead and do, it tells me to go ahead and I need to connect these ends. So I'm going to put just a tiny bit of glue onto the end of that shorter cord, and I'm going to kind of connect those together, and I'm going to tuck them up inside the barrel bead. Oops, and it's not going to stay. The other option is I just sit here and I hold them. The intent here is I need to connect those ends just enough so that when I tuck them up into the barrel bead, they'll stay together. And then I'll actually be crimping them down. But for now, I just want to hold that super glue for a second, try to get it to set. And then maybe slide that up into the barrel bead, see if that'll work. Hold on. And then the reason my instructions tell me to do that with the first one is because now I'm just going to let that sit for a minute and I'm going to move on to the second one while that's setting up. So let's see, again, I'm picking up. Well, first I'm going to get this glue off my fingers because that's just a disaster waiting to happen. And then I'm picking up that second set of 2 cords, lining up the first one on the inside. And tucking those up into the barrel bead. There's one of those little spacer beads tucked in there. I got to pop that out. Okay, so shorter cord to the inside. Tuck that into these. Into the barrel bead and then curve that back down and around. Let's see, going back to my comments. Someone said, it went by so fast I didn't catch who said it, but that yeah, the hypo cement is definitely not as good for the cord ends. It's but it's great for the leather connections. I hope that you guys are watching all the comments because, you know, this community, you guys have so much information that you can share with each other. I mean, yeah, we're on video here sharing information with you, but you guys also always have a lot of good information. So hopefully you guys are getting a chance to look at the comments, even if I do not. So that's just another bonus of this Great Bead Extravaganza is this community that you guys set up and can nurture and share. So again, I've got a little bit of glue on those short ends and I'm tucking it into the barrel bead and I'm going to slide that off to the side to set up. And hopefully this one is set up a little bit now. So let's see. I'm going to pull. This one is the outside one. I'm going to pull that so the loop up at the top is a little longer and pull the inside one down a little bit. And then I can kind of adjust and nest them together again. So you can see that that inside one now is good. It's got the beads on it and it's tucked up inside the barrel bead. And now I can string my, my beads onto this outside cord. So I'm going to string a 5mm, a 7mm. Trying to find my picture so I can remember what my, oops, not 5mm and then 7mm. It's 5mm and then one of the aventurine, and then another 5mm, then a 7mm, tiger's eye, 7mm, 5, aventurine, and 5. Okay. And then we're going to do that little, whoops, that first one came out. Tuck it back in there. We're going to do that little glue and tuck thing again. So I want to pull this outer one up so it's close. And put a little bit of glue on there. And then tuck that back in there. And I'm seeing that my inside one did not stay connected. So I'm going to tuck that back down in there. Actually, I'll put a little bit more glue on it first, because obviously the first attempt didn't really hold. And with super glue, less is more. You don't want to put too much on there because, you know, it takes a long time to set up. So less is kind of more with super glue, at least in my experience. Okay. Get that tucked in there, get the beads out of my way, get the second one tucked in there. Adjust this loop up at the top so that it's not too long. I only want about that much is plenty. I try to always remember to put the lid back on the glue. So now everything is set well enough now where I can just take my, again, I'm going to use the parallel pliers. I'm going to make sure that everything is tucked together inside the cord end, and then I'm going to crimp that down. And this is where these really need to hold. So I'm going to use, I'm going to be a little more firm with my crimping because I really don't want these leather cords coming out of there. And that's how you put that one together. Now, I have a bonus demonstration because when I was putting these kits together for this demonstration, I didn't have the ear wires that are included in the kit are some of our niobium ear wires with a little 3mm silver bead, but I didn't have any of those in my office. So somebody's commenting that she hates E6000. It is so sloppy. It's true, but the stuff works, but it is so goopy and messy sometimes. It can be really frustrating. But so some of you may not know that we actually sell ear wires that we call blanks. We've also heard them referred to as add a bead. And what you can do with these blanks is add your own bead for embellishment, and then you just finish that off with a simple loop. So since I didn't have any of those finished ear wires in here when I was putting together these kits, I decided I would just go ahead and demo this for you guys. So this is one of our niobium blanks, and I've threaded a 3mm bead onto the straight end of the ear wire. And then I'm just going to fold that up and form a simple loop. And so one of the things that's really cool about using blanks to make your own ear wires is that you can make, depending on the blank, we do sell some in some different lengths. You can make larger loops for if you're going to be hanging larger material on there. As it is, this gives me about 3/8 of an inch of wire to form a simple loop with. And so I just use my round nose pliers to do that. And that is how you work with one of our ear wire blanks. So I hope you guys can see that well. So it's just fun. I thought it would be fun to demo that since I didn't have those finished ear wires sitting around in here. So yeah, ear wire blanks, a fun thing. So the last stage of this design is then I just add that ear wire. Oh, okay. So in the original design, look, I put a larger ear wire, a larger jump ring and another oval jump ring. So now we have two options. You can just add your ear wire directly up at the top, or you can do it with the jump rings. So yeah, options are good. I'll go ahead and finish this off. I'm not going to do the second earring here. I'm just going to move on to the next bracelet here because we have about 20 more minutes in our time slot. So I'm going to add the 5mm round jump ring. It's a 16 gauge jump ring that comes in the kit. And then there's an oval jump ring that's like about a 4x3mm inside dimension. And that one also is included in the kit. And so I added the 5mm one to the leather and then the oval one onto the 5mm one. And then I'm going to add the ear wire there to the oval one. All right, so that's the original design from the kit. So that's it for that one, guys. So of course I've started this one. To finish it, I would just go back and follow the rest of those steps to to finish, add all the beads and to finish up the construction. So that's it for the lasso earrings. And you know, this is an older design. So it's an interesting thought that since we came out with those barrel beads, we have since come out with crimpable cord ends that go with them. So imagine how much easier it would be to make this earring. It would change it. This one has, you know, has the layers and the loops, and it's very kind of boho, and it's a beautiful design. But you could also just tuck 2 strands of leather or 4 strands of that 1.5 millimeter leather into one of these cord ends, and that would be easier. But we don't have a kit for that one, so that one's up to you guys to play with. So moving on. Our last one is the Om Blossom Bracelet. And this one is, again, with some leather cord. Oh, Joyce Trowbridge. Oh, Joyce, hi. Joyce is one of our customers. She had, up until the last year or so, a brick and mortar store in Concord. And I never had the chance to go in there, and I'm so sad that they had to close their brick and mortar, but they're still good customers of ours. They do live demonstrations every Saturday through their Facebook page, and the name of their store is Just Bead It. Great name, Just Bead It. So hi, Joyce. She likes the blank ear wires. They make her happy to add her own embellishment and coordinate with her earrings. Oh, it's so easy, you guys, to, you guys are having a heck of a glue discussion, and I'm sorry I can't follow the whole thing, but I will go back and probably read the whole darn thing later. It can be so distracting to start looking at the comments. I want to be a part of the discussion. Okay, so the last bracelet, again with the leather cord, this is a 2 millimeter cord. And then the rest of the parts is our Om Blossom, our Om button, and then our little lotus flower charm. We have 10 8 millimeter beaded spacers with large holes. Again, all of these beads have large holes because we're working with cord. So that's why we designed, you know, this whole line of beads that have large holes. Oh my God, it's hysterical. Cindy, what are you laughing about? I missed it. Oh, the name of the store? Just Bead It? Funny. Okay, so we got 2 millimeter cord. It's about an 18-inch piece. We have some large hole gemstone rondelles. I think it's turquoise, might be howlite, I'm not sure. And then we've got some, also some jasper, looks like some jasper in a large hole round in a red color. And the only tools we need for this design, again, is we need a ruler and some scissors and some super glue. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do with this design is I'm going to tuck the, I'm going to thread one end of the cord through the shank of the button. And one thing about our buttons is that we make them with kind of roomy shanks because we want to make sure people can use larger materials. So they all have shanks that will fit a 2 millimeter cord. So I'm just going to thread that through the shank, and then I'm going to wrap this end. I gave myself about 2.5 inches to work with here. I'm going to wrap that around the longer cord and make a loop like that, and then thread that through. It's just an overhand knot, but it's the direction can be a little bit confusing. So there actually is a diagram in the kit that shows you how to do that. So I just tied that around the shank, and I'm trying to get it tightened up. It's not cooperating, but we'll get there. I've got some extra, but I don't think it'll affect the rest of the bracelet. If I run out of cord, I'll just come back and adjust that knot if I need to, so I can have that little bit of extra to work with. So got an overhand knot tied, and now I'm going to string my charm. And I want to make sure I'm stringing in the direction that this charm is going to face. The ohm symbol is obviously has a top and a bottom, so I want to make sure that my charm is going to hang appropriately. I don't want to hang it or thread it on so that it hangs upside down. So that's the way I want it to look. I want my little blossom charm, and I want my ohm symbol to be coordinated. So then after that, I'm going to start stringing some beads. I'm going to string a spacer, the larger Hishi spacer, and I'm just going to alternate, and then the round one. And I'm going to just repeat that pattern until I've used up all those beads. Still, you guys are still discussing glue. That's so awesome. I'm really going to have to read this so I can find out everything you guys know that I don't know. All right, and this colorway for this bracelet is just, you know, it's almost a traditional kind of Southwest, that turquoise color and the red, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite palettes. All right, so I've got my beads strung. The next thing I need to do is kind of decide how long I want this bracelet to be. So I typically I have a fairly scrawny wrist, but I normally wear bracelets about 7 inches. So that means that I want to measure that out and then fold this back, make a little loop at the end. That's going to be my button loop. And that doesn't look like a very big bracelet to me. So I'm actually going to move that loop out a little bit because I don't want it to be that tight. Am I going the right direction? Maybe I'm not going the right direction. Feels like it's getting smaller instead of bigger. All right, here we go. So, all right, so just because of when you're making a bracelet and determining how long you want it to be, you really have to pay attention to how thick the materials are, because what you're going for is the inside dimension of the bracelet, right? So if these are very big, bulky beads, they take up more space. So I can say I might wear a 7-inch bracelet, but if it's made up of big beads, then I'm going to need to make it a little longer than that. So that's what was happening there. I measured 7. I'm like, oh, that is not going to work. Because when I looped it into a circle, you could tell that it just was not going to be big enough. So something to remember when you're working with bigger beads. But this looks pretty good. I've got my little button loop in its place, and I'm going to repeat that knotting that I did at the beginning, where I just thread the shorter end around the longer, make a little loop, and then come back. And the key is to aim my tail back along the bracelet rather than towards the button loop. And then just want to tighten that down. And I don't want to make that button loop too big. I want it to hold the button securely. So, and I will be coming in at the end and adding glue to these knots to keep everything in place. All right, so that's pretty good. The last step is just to bring that cord back along the body of the bracelet and tuck all of these beads up next to each other. They don't have to be tight. They can actually, I'm going to put another knot, but I want to make sure these can move a little bit so they don't have to be super tight. So I'm going to put that, I'm going to put that knot accordingly, where I want a little bit of room in here, and that's what will help me determine where to put that knot. And again, just that little overhand. And I do want to make sure that these are kind of even. And I'm going to tighten that down and come back in with glue on all of those knots. And this one especially, I want to make sure that my glue hits both cords because I don't want the cord sliding and affecting the size of my button loop. So I want to make sure that I'm kind of generous on this knot. I want it to hit all the spots and hold that knot securely. And then this one too, I really don't want this one moving either. And once I've got the glue in there, I might try and tighten that knot a little more again too. And then that last one up by the button. I sure don't want that one coming undone, right? I don't want my button coming off. And then I can trim that little bit of extra there off. There and also here. Almost forgot about that one. And that is the Blossom bracelet. It's a fun design and very easy. And imagine just the different gemstones you could use with that. Gemstones there's a lot of gemstones out there with the larger holes, so you could really have some fun with that, I think. Okay. And that are those 3 kits. I'm going to switch my camera. And then, oops. As so often happens when I switch my camera, I hit the stop video instead of change camera button. So sorry about that. I went away for just a second. And so I think I am, guys. I'm totally going to pick some names. Ooh, we got 5 minutes. Our timing is perfect. I'm going to kind of scroll up to the top of the comment feed if I can. And I'm just going to like randomly pick some names. I don't know how far back it'll go. Maybe it won't go far enough back. All right, so I'm going to close my eyes and like do this with my finger and see where it lands. Okay, guys? So my first pick is Susan Siegel. You win one of these kits, and it'll be a surprise. I'm just going to, I'll package them up on Monday, and it'll be a surprise which one you get. So let's see, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to scroll along in the comments and just wait till they pop up and whoops, and that one moved so fast. Where did her name go? Ah, that was Terry. Terry with a hyphenated last name. I will find it. And when I do go to ship these out, you guys, I will reach out through the messages and ask for your shipping information. So, okay, we got one more. Okay, one more. This is fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I am. All right. Tracy Alden. You are the winner of the 3rd one. So congratulations, Terry and Tracy and Susan. I'll ship you guys out some kits tomorrow when I'm back in the office. I think that's it, you guys. I so appreciate all of you being here. And we actually have our next Great Bead Extravaganza if weekend picked. We're planning to do this again on the weekend of June 11th through 13th. So it'll be, I'm assuming we'll do a Saturday and Sunday again. And so that's the 12th and 13th. And then Friday night we'll have our kickoff preview party like we did for this one. So, you know, you'll start seeing marketing for that probably, sometime in May, maybe early June. So we're looking forward to that. And I have another note. Oh, join me. We have started a schedule of live stream tutorials on Tuesday mornings on the TierraCast Facebook page. So please join me for that. I always make an event for it, although I didn't make one for this coming week. I think I'm going to be doing some wine charms using our charms. So watch for that. I'll be doing that Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. And one other thing I wanted to mention, what was it? Tuesday morning lives, Midsummer Market, Great Bead Extravaganza event on June 11th through 13th. Whatever the other thing was, I forgot. But stay here with the Great Bead Extravaganza. Jamie Yoshida with the Bead Gallery in Honolulu is coming up next. And I am sure she will have awesome stuff for you guys. Oh, Lynn, 10 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday morning. So yeah, maybe I'll see some of you guys there. And hope you enjoyed this. And we so appreciate you guys, the jewelry makers out there. Thank you. There would be no reason for us to do this if it wasn't for you. So thanks. And we'll see you next time.